Hey, what's good in the hood? This is Matt, and in this video, we're finally doing a matchup that a lot of you have been waiting for a long time. Dark Magician against versus Swordsoul. So I'm actually going to rename this to Sworldsoul Tenyi because it is a more pure version of Swordsoul. It is not the weird virtual world Swordsoul that I saw the other day. That one time. This is Sworldsoul Tenyi as it gets, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, this match was interesting. Game 2 more interesting than Game 1, but yeah, I do 2-0 here, and yeah, it does definitely goes to show like how good some of the side packages are in Dark Magician, and also there were a few misplays on my part, but even with the misplays, I still ended up winning. All right. So let's get into it with game one. So in game one, I do win the die roll, and I will be going first. Now, my starting hand is pretty solid. This is gonna get me a lot of interruptions, as you'll soon see. Their starting hand is also really good. Yeah, they have three like starters. Like the I guess this is the like Monster Reborn version for Swordsoul, and then of course an Ash, which is always annoying. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and go through the Sky Striker package, right? Hornet Drones, Kagari, Hyena, Hornet Drones, Linkuriboh. Yeah, always run with Linkuriboh because you don't want to waste your Link Spider on a token because you might prefer it for a Dark Magician later. Just use Linkuriboh, and Linkuriboh will go to the graveyard, and then in the future, Linkuriboh will protect your Magician Souls from Veilers and Imperms and stuff like that. So, yeah, please use Linkuriboh. It's a great monster. Plus, look how cute he is, right? How could you not want to run Linkuriboh? All right. So then these two go to Anaconda. Anaconda will summon Dragoon. So now, there's a few interruptions we have here. So this will grab Eternal Soul. So I tried an Nadir Servant here because I have not normal summoned, right? So I have used the Sky Striker package, so I've only special summoned. I try to grab Ecclesia, which I can then normal summon to grab, you know, and then search Punishment, and I can also search, from Titanic Light, I can search Fleurdelis. So he will Ash this, which is unfortunate because, this is two interrupts. So if Nadir Servant goes through, I'll generate two interrupts. So in this case, even though I don't usually recommend, I do actually use my Dragoon Negate here and ditch Dark Magician because I do want this to go through. So I'll send Titanic Lad, get Ecclesia. Ecclesia will normal summon. So this is something that I've been messing up in a lot of my previous replays, and a lot of you other Dark Magicians players with more experience with the Dogmatic engine have told me that, yeah, you can still normal summon after using Anaconda's effect. So yeah, I normal summon Ecclesia here, grab Punishment. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set these two, because Judgment is just amazing, and Punishment is pops two. And then I'm going to leave myself with no cards in hand, but then Titanic Cloud's going to grab me Fleur-de-Lis, right? All right, so I could have if I did not get ashed, I could have had one interruption from the Dragoon, negate, punishment, which pops two, judgment, and then Fleur de Lis, right? I could have had four interruptions if we're not for that ash, but because of that, I'm down a card, so I either have to use Dragoon negate, ditch Fleur de Lis, or I use Fleur de Lis to negate, right? So I have three negates here instead of four. Three negates is still good. Like ideally, you want three. Three or more is best. Two is workable depending on your opponent's situation. One is not good, right? So anyway, I mean maybe I could have not been greedy and not set Eternal Soul. Just kept this field in my spell in my hand, use that as discard fodder, and then I would have the fourth interrupt. But yeah, I didn't expect to get ashed. I think is what happened. Yeah, I think I did that before I did Nadir Servant. So anyway, so I'll go to my misplay later. But so he's gonna go. He draws Call by the Grave, which is just a great card. Use Longren. Longren's gonna summon a token, and then he's gonna link into level 10 Changing, and I'm gonna immediately Solemn Judgment. Yeah, I just The reason I Solemn Judgment the summon here is because I don't want him to be able to revive this because this is a really strong monster. And in fact, he does have the Swordsoul Sacred Summit, which would normally allow him to effectively Monster Reborn his Swordsoul. However, um, you know, because this is not properly summoned, he won't be able to, right? So that's one interruption gone. So now he summons Moya, and this is the first mistake I make, right? So Moya activates its effect, reveals the Sword Soul card, and the one he reveals is his spell, so I know he has it. So in this case, I use Fleurdelis to negate this, but what I should have done is I should have used Dragoon to negate this. And the reason I should have used Dragoon is because if I used Dragoon to negate, this would have destroyed this monster, sends it to the graveyard, and then he would have zero bodies on the field, and then the ability to revive one monster, right? So that's what I should have done. Instead, I try to go greedy. I think the reason I summoned Fleurdelis is because I want more bodies on the field, because I want to OTK him next turn, right? Um, so yeah, so that was a big mistake. I should have just discarded to negate. But also because you know, there's also the fact that Moya is a 1700 attack monster versus Ecclesia, so that you just run over Ecclesia. So um, yeah, like I could have prevented Ecclesia from dying if I. Granted, I wouldn't have Fleur de Lis, but um, yeah, I should have just Dragoon negated to get rid of this body. Yeah, so that was a greedy that was greed on my part. So I know he still has this revive, and I still have a punishment which can pop 2, right? So I negate that effect, and then he uses the revive to bring back Tai. Tai is going to activate on special summon to banish a card and then grab a token. All right. So here is another misplay that I did. So if you read this card, it says while that token is in the monster zone, oh, cannot special summon except for synchro monsters. Oh, that's fine. Okay. So I should have used punishment here to just kill this token, right? So he doesn't really have anything that good. Um, like, if I can just stop him, like, so here's what I do. So I'm gonna use punishment, and I'm gonna target the Tai. So basically, I'm planning to send Entis. So pop this, Entis will pop that, and then he'll be left with just a random token, right? That was what I was planning to do. However, I didn't account for the fact that he might have Called by the Grave, and I really should have. So what I should have is I should have popped this token with the punishment, and then use Entis to pop one of these two. So that if he did have Called by the Grave, I still get the token, and he can't synchro, right? So he does. I do Entis. He does Call by the Grave, and at this point, he is able to do Synchro 8, which will get him. So this is a 7. This is an 8. So he ends up timing out and then like losing because of the timer, right? But I don't actually think there's any way he could have beaten me. Like, let's say he synchroed 8, right? Um, like, what's a synchro 8 gonna do against this board? Maybe kill Ecclesia? Like, if he got that 110 monster, like, he can shuffle, like, one card into my deck, right? A targeted shuffle, right? Because that Synchro 8 said that, oh, you can target cards up to the number of attributes, right? So he has one attribute here, water. Use to Synchro Summon, right? So he would target one card on my field to shuffle back into the deck, like, and then next turn I just kill him, right? So, I don't know. I really don't see a way out for him here. Let me see if I can... I'm just going to go... I just want to look into it. So, let's see. So, his Synchro 8 options were... the Shi Chao, which he can target and affect monster negative effects. So that does nothing. Um, like he used all 3 of his named effects, right? So it's not like he could go into another combo, right? This dude does nothing useful. What is? I guess he could have won as a Dragite and then like crash into Dragoon, I suppose. But that's just silly because then I just, you know, run him over with like a bunch of monsters next turn, like 5,000. I don't know. Like I had Eternal Soul, Dark Magician, plus 5,000 damage, plus Anaconda. Like yeah, that would have been game. Shen Shen maybe? No, no, that's a level 9. Level 9. So what's this guy do? When your opponent activates a monster effect, you can banish it. If this attack card destroys an effect monster sends a graveyard, this card gains attack equals to destroy. Also can make a second attack. Okay, so maybe this guy can kill Fleurdelis and then use a second attack to kill Dragoon. So I suppose that's one thing they could have done. I don't know. I like basically he had like one card play left, and I don't think any of these synchros could have really actually helped him win. Like I had way more cards than he did. Like I don't know. Granted, I misplayed a little bit. Like I should have used Dragoon Negate. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't think he could have actually won that game. Anyway, so he timed. Let's go. So then let's talk about side decking. So I assumed I was gonna go second. He was gonna make me go second. So for side deck, I definitely put in Dark Ruler No More because yeah, he has a bunch of monsters that are going to want to be have like quick effects or whatever. I'm pretty sure I put in Pankratops because Pankratops is lol. Um, free body and a negate. Did I put in the beer? Let me think. Let's see. So Swordsoul usually summons. Let's see. So a body, a token, a body, a synchro, a body, a token, and then the second synchro is typically Fleurdelis. So I may have put in Nibiru. I can check in game 2 to see if I put in Nibiru, but I'm pretty sure I put in Nibiru. And I would have taken out Nadir Servants. Um, and Solemn Judgments. And maybe one other card. I forgot what I took out. I can check my deck during game 2, but I'm pretty sure these were the ones I put in. Like Dark Rulers, Nibirus, and Pankratops. So let's verify that to see, because I can't quite recall. So let's see what game 2 looks like. Alright, so in game 2, let's swap here. Dark Ruler No More, okay. Dark Ruler No More. Pankratops, no Nibirus. Okay, so I did not put in my Nibirus. Okay. I think the reason I didn't put in Nibirus is because I assumed that like if they just early went into Baron the Fleur that they can just negate Nibiru. I mean I guess that would take out the one negate, but I don't know. In retrospect, maybe I would go Nibiru here. So I did keep like a couple of Nadir servants. Okay, whatever. All right, so I do go second. And it's funny, he has crossout designator. I don't run hand traps, so this is 100% a brick. Actually, I'm curious what if he has a Nibiru in his deck. If he is worried about Nibiru, I don't see it. Yep, he does not have a Nibiru as a crossout designator target, so I guess he's not worried about it. All right, so let's see what he does. So he's gonna summon this guy, summons a token, Baron Lafleur, and then he sets crossout designator, which will do nothing. Alright, so he has two interruptions. Baron and Ash, right? I have quite a few plays I'm going to make. So the most obvious one is I'm going to open Nadir Servant because if he doesn't, like, he's really screwed if he doesn't negate Nadir Servant, right? Because if I send Entis, grab Ecclesia, Entis will attempt to pop Baron. Baron will be forced to negate. And then I go Ecclesia into Fleurdelis, into attack, and his Baron is dead, right? So shotgunning Nadir Servant here is absolutely the way to go because it will force him to negate. And actually, he ends up ashing it. So I didn't know he had ash in his hand, but like ideally I wanted to get the Baron Lafleur negate. So get the ash negate instead. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. So because it's negate, I can go into my extra deck. So I'm gonna go the Sky Striker route. And I'm going to see at what point he allows me to... At what point I'm going to force a negate out of him. So I even target this Baron LaFleur with kinda, just to see if I can bait the negate. Like, so you say you can't attack next turn, right? He doesn't go for it, so I'm just gonna keep comboing. Anaconda. So, funny things. First, I activate Anaconda to make Baron LaFleur a dark monster, right? So, those of you who forget, like, Anaconda has two effects. It has, the fusion effect, and it has an effect that says, change the attribute of a monster. So I'm changing this Baron LaFleur to a dark, just to see if I can bait the negate, because if he negates that, that means that, Anaconda will still technically have not used the fusion effect, which means I can go into a second Anaconda and use it, right? So he doesn't take the bait, and so I just play the 2000, and then he finally negates it. All right, cool. But I still have a Magician's Soul here, so let's see what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna summon Magician's Souls. I'm gonna put Rod on top of my deck, and then I'm gonna use Soul to ditch this Soul Servant and grab Rod. Summon Rod. Rod will search Magician's Salvation. Magician's Salvation will set Eternal Soul. So when I summon Magician's Souls, I actually put Dark Magician in the grave, right? Because I figured I might need him, right? Because of Eternal Soul. So I'm actually gonna banish Soul Servant to get a draw, and check out who I draw. Fleurdelis, baby. All right, this is where I win the game. Like, all right, Fleurdelis is a great card because it's effectively a free like special summon, right? So now I get to go. I have 3 bodies on the field, which means I can go into Artemis, or not Artemis, Selene, which means I get some counters. I revive a spellcaster, and look what I have. I have a Link 4, Accesscode Talker, baby. Let's go. This is like, all right. So Accesscode Talker, obviously I don't own in real life, but this is why you want to run Accesscode Talker, because if they screw you over and prevent your Anaconda Dragoon play, you go into Accesscode and just fuck their shit up, right? Like, just finish them, right? So I'm gonna make another misplay here in a second, which I'll show you. And the reason I made the misplay is because of the timer. I noticed that the timer is almost up, and I'm about to time out and lose, right? So I'm obviously gonna use Selene to make it 5300. I'm gonna use Accesscode Talker, send Kaina to pop the back row. I'm gonna use it again. So I should send Kagari, right? But I misclick and click Linkuriboh. So I did not mean to banish this Linkuriboh. This was a misplay right here, right? I should have kept Linkuriboh in the graveyard because he's more useful there, and I should have sent Kagari instead. So anyway, Accesscode Talker's gonna pop this, attack for 53, and then I'm gonna set a Gozen match and end, right? So I have Gozen match, I have a Dark Magician, and I have a 5300 beater. So let's see what he's going to do. He's going to use his Longren to summon itself and a token. The token is a water, by the way, and Longren is a fire. So as soon as I see that, I immediately flip Gozen match, and he cannot summon a token. So he's locked into fires, right? He cannot get a water token, and yeah, he has no other plays. If he tried to end his turn, I bring back Dark Magician. I have enough to just finish him off. Like, yeah. So yeah, Accesscode Talker is a really good card, and so far I've only bought one mini box of Eldorado. Have not pulled it yet. I am going to a case tournament tomorrow on Saturday, and they're going to be doing it. The prizes for that is going to be a case of Eldorado for the top 4. Split among the top 4. So yeah, hopefully maybe I'll pull Accesscode Talker in one of those. But yeah. So as you saw, like the Sky Striker package and the Dogmatica package really enabled a lot more plays than I would have had without them. So yeah, they're pretty good. Definitely worth running. And if all else fails, if they negate and play through everything, just go into Accesscode and just beat them down. So, yep. Yes, this victory was more decisive. Like, oh, you might REO in the last game he ran out of time. Maybe he could have done something. I don't actually think he could have done much, honestly. Best case, I'd taken out 2 of my cards, but I still had like plenty of follow-up plays. Anyway, yep. So that is Swordsoul match. Yeah, Swordsouls are pretty obnoxious. But again, Gozen match keeps proving itself to be like one of the best floodgates, if not the best floodgate in the game right now. Man, I can't believe I ever like contemplated or like flirted with the idea of taking this out of my deck. Like, this is a main deck 100%. Like, yeah. So anyway, yeah, I've yet to see Swordsoul win like at my locals or any of the locals I've been to so far. Um, I don't think they've topped either. And like at my locals, only like one person played it. Like it's I don't know. Maybe like with people starting to run the Tenyi package, maybe they'll start winning. But so far, I'm not really worried about Swordsoul at all. My experience with them has been pretty much I always win. Like the very first time Burst of Destiny came out, that very first locals, my very first opponent, as you may have recalled from my locals recap video, was a Swordsoul opponent, and I beat him 2-0, like going second both games. So with can't win going second deck according to some dummies on the Discord group. Anyway, so all right, thank you all for watching, and I hope you learned something. Yeah, don't make sure you don't misplay. Like I could the misplays from the game one were potentially game throwing. Luckily I didn't actually end up losing, but yeah, be very careful about like how you time and like make sure you don't miss it because they can be game throwing. All right, so thanks a lot for watching and take care.